Alright, welcome gamers to our first episode of What's in the Box. So today I have gone out and I have picked up a box of Age of Sigmar Paladins. Look at the back. Several different variants. There's the Retributors, the Protectors, and the Decimators. So here in a second we're going to open it up and see what the kit looks like. And then we'll kind of talk about some stats, talk about some options and things like that. Get your feedback on it. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. Alright gamers, so here we go. Opening the box of Paladins. Let's see what we get. So first thing we see, packaged, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bases. Good, they gave us the correct amount. Set those aside, we don't need to look at those. Transfer sheets. Instruction book. Pretty cool. Take a look at that in a second. So let's look at the kit itself. First sprue. So what do we got here? So this looks like the bits for most of the weapons. So we've got, looks like your Retributor Thunderhammers. Then we have, these look like the bits, the two sections to make Star Soul Mauls. I would love to see some comments about your thoughts on the Star Soul Maul. The fact that it doesn't roll to hit, doesn't roll to wound. You just pick a unit within 1 inch of the wielder. The unit takes D3 mortal wounds. And apparently you can take up to 2 Star Soul Mauls in a unit of 5 guys. If it's Protectors, Retributors, or Paladins. So 2 of those, potentially throwing out up to 6 mortal wounds for free. I think it's pretty good. Maybe some of you might think differently, but yeah, put some comments in below there, and we'll talk about that. So it looks like the axe head for the Prime, and then there's the glaive here for the storm glaives for the Protectors. So it looks like we've got all the heads and everything down here. So we've got like a Prime head, several other heads with halos, some of them with the little what do you want to call it, little swoosh. It goes from the face going back like the Retributors have. I kind of like those helmets myself. I'm probably going to use those. Leg section, I got like this little scale mail, little sash thing there. It's kind of cool. Little emblem on the belt. Look relatively easy to put together, not overly complex. So far, pretty good kit. Nice and solid, those hammers are. Not little flimsy pieces. Alright, so far so good. Next sprue. Looks like this is backpacks. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 backpacks. Obviously there's only enough to make 5 troops, but you do have a backpack for a Prime. I guess if you didn't need a Prime, you could just make 5 more regular guys if you're just adding to an already existing unit. Honestly, I think a unit of 5 of these guys, most of them are 3 wounds apiece. So I'm thinking that's 15 wounds, you know, with good saves. What do they have? They have 4+ save? That's a good question. Let's take a look. What's cool that I noticed, it even has the rules for the unit at the back of the rule book. It's got the war scroll right there on the top. Obviously in all your different languages. So let's see. Oh, yep. So they have 3 wounds, 4+ save. 4+ save with 3 wounds. I think that's pretty good. Shoulder pads. So like right here. This looks like a lion head or some kind of monster. Yeah, it's a lion head. But it's cool. They got these little doodads right here. I don't know if you can see it very well. This little token looking thing, like a little badge that you can glue to your guy. Kind of cool. Add a little fluff, add a little character to him. And then obviously 2 more sections of legs for them. So you build. So this is up to 4 guys. There's even like another little section of parchment there, or a little sash thing, which would be pretty cool to add on. Obviously, it's all covered in the instruction books of what you can and should add and things like that. So far, not bad. Alright, and then the third sprue. So we've got, this is probably, I'm assuming this is probably going to be for the Prime. Then all your extra armor, you're armed sections, halves for, this is for either the hammer or the axe, so you can put whichever head on them that you want, which is kind of cool. And then more glaives on the sides. More heads for different options. These heads they look like Liberator heads. They just like the basic head with a little halo around them. Obviously, I'm not building Liberators. I'm building the Paladins. You know, I'm going to be using the other heads out of the other sprues over there to make them look a little more flamboyant. Then you've got all your torso sections. They put together a lot like a Space Marine. You know, you've got the front and the back of the torso you glue together. You glue that on top of the leg section and the waist. Put the head down on top of the torso. Oh no, I mean not. I mean, it's got some really, really well. What's the word I'm looking for? Well sculpted kit here. Not overly complex, you know. It's probably like 7-8 parts per guy, plus whatever little bits you want to put on him. But now the big question is, do we build more Retributors? Do we build Decimators with their axes? Or do we build Protectors? I'd like some comments down below. Give me your opinion on which unit you would build. If you bought a box of these, which unit would you build? You know, do you want to build more Retributors? I mean, you could build 5 more of them, add them to the 3 you've already got out of the starter box. Well, now you've got 8. You've got 8 guys, 3 wounds apiece. That's, what, 24 wounds, 4+ save. They move rather slow, but then you could put a couple of Star Soul Mauls in there. Plus the Mauls, I mean, they can take on almost anything. Heroes on dragons, that kind of thing. Or do we build Decimators? Do we need to kill infantry? You know, massed infantry like skeletons and zombies or orcs and things like that. Decimators do really good because you get a ton of attacks based on the number of guys within range. Or do we need monster slaying power? Do we need glaives? Obviously they get 3 attacks, hit on 3s, 1 on 3s. They, you know, Ren -1, 1 damage. They could kill, you know, regular infantry and things like that. But when it comes to monsters, like these are guys like the undisputed champions. Obviously you have to roll a 6 to wound, I think. Yeah, 6 is to wound. But say you've got 5 of these guys. You've got 3 attacks each. Prime gets 4 attacks, so 3, 6, 9, 12. 16 attacks, hitting on 3s. So what is the math on that? So you're probably going to see maybe 11 hits and probably maybe at least 1 or 2 6s out of those wounds. And those are D6s. Even on average rolls, that's 6 damage from those 2 attacks that rolled 6s instead of 1. Like, that will kill, you know, like the Korgoraths, I think they only have 8 wounds or something like that. The thing is dead in a turn. So, lots of options. Cost of the kit, I mean, they are pretty pricey. They're up there with, like, buying a box of Terminators from 40K. I think I paid $58 US at my local game store. Obviously, I can get them cheaper online. I do on occasion, but I do like to support my local game stores, because eventually I want to own my own game store, so I want people that are going to support me like I'm supporting them. But yeah, that's it. That's the 3 sprues right there. Super simple. You get them put together in a single sitting. They can dry. I can start painting tomorrow. Well, remember to like and subscribe. Leave comments down below. Let's really talk about which unit's going to be the best for the army. Obviously, let's just take into consideration all you have is out of the starter set. What would you need more of? Like, what do you need to add? Do you need the monster killing power, troop killing power, or do we just need hard-hitting, just regular Retributors? It's really a toss-up in the air. Honestly, what I'm probably going to do, I'm probably just going to build the legs, the torsos, heads, leave the arms off, play a couple of games, proxy them as, you know, one unit, then the other unit, and see how they work and see how I like them, and then I'll make a decision. I mean, if all else fails, I mean, I could even do magnets. That was obviously going to take a little bit of work, a little extra conversion work, but I mean, if you really needed to switch them around, magnets would be the way to go. But I'm really debating on decimators. I really like the axes and how they look, and I think they're going to be fun to paint. Well, that's all for this episode of What's in the Box. So remember to like, subscribe, and comment below. We'll see you next time in the Game Master's Dungeon.